Welcome back to LDB Games. I'm Lord Darth Balls, and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. And in this video, I'm going to go through the BATEATER, one of the most common and most effective unkillable teams for Clan Boss. Before we do that, I have just started a Discord. I'm going to include the link in the description down below. Come join my community as we start to grow. So I'm going to open my Clan Boss chest, and then we'll talk about the team. Got an Ancient Shard there. Nothing else good. Let's see what else I got. Ooh, Sacred. Hello there. Double? And an Ancient and an Epic Book. Nice. That's a pretty good day. Solid. So, the BATEATER is a double Maneater unkillable using Seeker and Painkeeper as a way to keep the speeds relatively low, right? You've got Seeker with your increased attack and your boost, and you've got Painkeeper with her reducing cooldowns to help bring back the Maneater's unkillable ability. The last slot is left open for a damage dealer, and there are a lot of damage dealers that you can put in this spot. For me, I have Fein in my normal team. And then I have a stand-in. Anytime it goes to anytime it goes to Magic Affinity, because of the Affinity negation here, I bring in Geomancer. So, let's get into the team. So let's start by taking a look at the damage, right? You can see that this just squeaked by a 1 key on Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. However, you do need, it is fairly gear intensive to make it 1 key. It is fairly easy to make this a 2 key Ultra Nightmare team, and that's what I was using until I created the Marty Cat, which I just put a video about recently. I'll pin to that up top. But you can see here, Seeker's coming in with just over 19 million damage. Painkeeper's got just under 7 million. Maneater's got almost, one Maneater here has got almost 10 million. My second Maneater's got 8.5. And Fein comes in with the high damage marker at 26 million. So, let's take a look at these champions. All right, so first let's talk about Maneater because he is pretty integral in this composition. His A1 has a decreased attack on it for a crit, which is pretty nice. His A2 doesn't really do anything in this fight because you can't affect the clan boss's turn meter. However, this is a really good ability overall as it fully depletes the turn meter of an enemy and then steals it. So if you get somebody that's just about to take their turn, you push them back a whole round of attacks and you go again, which is really cool. But the reason that he works in these teams is his A3, Ancient Blood. It gives him a small amount of damage, which doesn't matter. Then it puts an unkillable and a block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. The damage he takes himself is 5% for each 5% of his HP for each active ally, but it doesn't ever matter because he's always got unkillable on, so he can't kill himself in this fight, which is really nice. He does have an aura in dungeons. We don't use that here, obviously. And you'll notice I have a 2-star blessing on one of my Maneaters. Now, I decided to go with Phantom Touch. You'll notice I have 4 of the 5 champions in blessings. And 3 of them are Phantom Touch. 1 of them is Cruelty, and we'll talk about Cruelty in a second when we get there. So, let's look at his stats real quick. This is the fast Maneater, right? There is a fast Maneater and a slow Maneater in this comp. This one is running 265 speed. He's got 100% crit rate. It's a little low on crit damage. I think he's the only champion in not in crit damage gloves. Because the key to maximizing damage per key is getting crit damage gloves on everybody. And he's got enough accuracy to land the decreased attack, although it's not necessary. So, yeah, this one still has crit rate gloves on it. You notice I'm even using a flat defense. Oh, hell Hades, don't look at this. Please don't look at this. But it's got 15 speed on it, which helps me hit the mark. Crit rate and speed basically is what I'm looking for around the stats to get me where I need to go. Then the slow Maneater is running 247. So they're pretty close in speeds, but the speeds are pretty important. And I'm going to put a link down below to Deadwood Jedi's website, which has a really great breakdown of this tune, as well as the instructions that I'll be verbally explaining in this video. Oh, it looks like he's not in crit damage gauntlets either, because he's got 100% crit and 130 crit damage, which means these are crit rate. Yeah. Oh, look at that. And ha! 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 Oh gosh, that's so funny. He does have 6-star boots. This is trash gear, I gotta say. I'm surprised these two Maneaters are doing the damage that they are. Before we move on real quick, they both have the same exact masteries. I went down the offense tree to War Master for the extra damage. So we've got the 60% chance of bonus damage, the damage for the default skill every time it's used, damage against max HP. This is like the clan boss line down here. I'm not sure why I chose this one, because he doesn't really do that kind of damage. And nobody dies in this comp, so that doesn't help. I think that was a throwaway mastery. That doesn't really make a difference either. Extra crit damage, extra crit rate. And extra damage when inflicting with less than HP, 50% HP, right? So this squad is typically running at like 1 HP the entire time, or, you know, in and around low HP. So this comes in handy because it increases his damage. And then I also chose Retribution. Because, you know, with a little bit of healing in this squad, sometimes the clan boss's hits can proc a Retribution hit, which is really nice because it's just extra damage. The rest don't really matter too much, as it's all damage mitigation, and this is an unkillable team. Let me move myself back over. All right, so now, next is Painkeeper. Now, Painkeeper comes in here for a very specific reason. She comes in for her A3. This decreases the cooldowns of all ally skills by 1 turn, and it's how these two Maneaters working in tandem are able to keep up the unkillable the entire fight. She does have a turn meter fill on her A1, however, the tune accounts for that, and she has a heal on an AoE on her A2, which can help get some of these champions back up to certain HP par levels so that they can proc another Retribution hit. Really the only reason that it would be there. And I do have Phantom Touch on her. She is a rare champion, so there's not really much else to take for her. Epics don't have that much more availability for damage dealing blessings. But oh wow, I guess this isn't as difficult to reach a 1 key as I thought. This guy, she's also in crit rate gloves. You can tell because her crit damage is only 139. That's pretty impressive actually. Yeah, crit rate gloves. Well, at least that's not a flat stat chest. Yeah, so I guess that means that it's just Seeker and Feign. So Seeker and Feign are the two high damage markers, right? Seeker had about 20 mil, Feign had about 26. So let's take a look at Seeker first. And Seeker has got to be running fairly quick, right? He's got to be 249, give or take. I don't know. I think there's a little bit of leeway there. I do have him 100% crit and 255% crit damage. Now, his attack is based on attack, even though he's a defense-based champion. One of the most confusing things to me in this game. So I built him with, 3,600 attack on top of it. He doesn't need accuracy in this fight, because the only thing in his kit that uses accuracies is A1. It has a chance to place a provoke, which is a really nice A1 for Hydra. However, you can't provoke the clan boss. But the real reason he's in here is for his A2, which includes a 30% turn meter fill and a 50% increase attack, and then he gets another turn. So Seeker is constantly cycling through his abilities, keeping increased attack up on your team, as well as boosting their turn meter to keep them going nice and quick. Now, this doesn't really proc in this fight, but this is a really good passive that whenever he takes a critical hit, he gets healed and he puts increased defense on everybody. So if he's in the lead position in a team and he takes a crit, everyone else gets the increased defense before they actually take the hit, which is really cool. Now, I got really lucky and I got a 6-star Seeker. I actually pulled a 5-star and then I bought the 6-star Split Soul. And I have Cruelty on him. I chose Seeker for the Cruelty because he takes a lot of hits in succession because he's always boosting, he's always going, and his A1 is a double hitter. And at 6 stars, you get a 20% defense reduction on the boss. And it's 4% per hit, which means it only needs 5 hits. So 3 rounds of his A1, and we're at 20% defense reduction, which is huge. And he actually hits pretty hard, right? You can see I've got him in crit damage gauntlets, attack percentage chest, speed on the boots, and then I'm looking for crit rate, attack percentage, and speed everywhere else in the build. In terms of his masteries, it's the exact same thing as the 2 Maneater and Painkeeper. Actually, let's go back to Painkeeper real quick because her masteries are slightly different. Whoops. Right, I went down a similar path in the attack tree, but I also took Kill Streak, which doesn't actually have any impact on this fight. Neither does that one. So those 3 masteries don't really mean anything. Quick note about masteries. You should never blindly copy masteries. You should read each one that you're considering and think about what content that they're playing in the game for, because some masteries are good for some content and some aren't. So fair warning, don't just copy masteries. Think about it a little bit. Although masteries can be fairly complicated or confusing or overwhelming, which completely is completely understandable. If anybody wants me to do a breakdown of the masteries in a video, comment below. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Anyway, Painkeeper, I brought down the support tree for Steadfast to give some extra heals. This doesn't really matter, and that doesn't have any effect. The heals don't really matter in this other than getting my champions up to a high enough health level to be able to proc Retribution. Because any counterattacks, any additional attacks I get are just more damage. So, coming in with the DPS slot is Fane. Now, there are a lot of different champions that you can use here. Fane is, in my opinion, one of the best and most accessible champions that you can put in this DPS slot. She has a double hitter on the A1. This, you don't have to worry about the turn meter steal because you can't steal it from the clan boss. So no worries wrecking up the tune there. The A2 is a single hit, and when booked, has a 100% chance placing 2 poisons and a decreased attack. So she's bringing in decreased attack, which doesn't really have too much of an effect in this fight. However, those 2 poisons, that damage can add up over time. And then she has a triple hitter on her A3, which has a 100% chance, when booked, of landing both a decreased defense and a weaken. And these are the 2 best debuffs for increasing the amount of damage that you and the rest of your team do. And it's on a 3-turn cooldown, I might add. So it's pretty easy to keep that up almost the entire fight. I also brought Phantom Touch in for her, for the extra chance of bonus damage, right? Any more damage is just more damage, is just more damage. I do have her in crit damage gauntlets. She's running 218 speed. There is a few speed give here. I believe it's like 217 to 220, but you'd have to double check it. And fair warning, if you go about building clan boss teams, they tend to require a lot of play testing. So be ready to close your run out without losing a key and go back to the drawing board to tweak some gear. But aside from that, I've got to run at high attack and enough accuracy to do the job because a lot of her kit has debuffs in it. In terms of masteries, I did the exact same thing as the Maneaters, going down the offense tree to War Master with the extra damage when less than 50% HP, as well as going down the tree to Retribution to potentially get that counterattack. And she also, if I remember correctly, has a slight heal in her A3 as well, helping to get her HP levels back up so that she can proc more retributions. Because that A3, that A1 is a double hitter, and that's just a couple extra hits. So that's the team. Like I said, I do bring in Geomancer when the clan boss is... Where is he? When the clan boss is magic affinity, and I do that because Fein is the negative affinity to magic, right? So I need some way to counter that. And this Geo is built different from the rest of my Geos. I actually have him in crit rate gloves. Wow, and it's a lot easier to build a one-key team than I thought, because all it takes is putting crit damage gloves in all of your team. However, you do have to have some pretty good gear to reach the speeds, right? So here's a 219. But the key is here, he's got 100% crit rate, so that his abilities can actually do some damage, in addition to bringing the damage from his passive, right? Because this reflects damage, and it reflects damage based on enemy max HP, as long as the burn is out. Which also does some damage as well, which is really nice. He brings weaken, but there is no decreased defense in that team. If I were able to put a champion in that has it, it would probably be a lot better. But I barely use it. I usually hit the clan boss when it's void anyway, so it's really not that big of a concern for me. So, real quick before we get into the AI, here is a quick warning on masteries. There are a few select masteries that, when used, will prevent this team from working the way it's designed. And those are any masteries that increase your turn meter. So on one hand, Cycle of Revenge down the defense tree, you should not be using on any champion. Which one is it? It's these. No, it's this one. 30% chance of increase in the turn meter when a buff cast. Rapid response, do not use. Arcane Celerity, 30% of increase in the turn meter by 10% when a debuff is removed or expires. Do not use. And the only other one is this one. Yeah, though I still wouldn't recommend you using this because of the block debuffs. This shouldn't actually have an effect. And then one more call out on masteries is Lore of Steel. If you are going to use this mastery, unlock and apply it before you build your champions, as this can actually break a tune if you choose it after your champion is built. Now, last little bit, let's talk about the AI. This is a fully auto team from the beginning. I'm going to go into Nightmare because it is Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare friendly. I just did my Ultra Nightmare key. Time to do my Nightmare key. So, there's only ever one round in the clan boss, which makes setting the AI pretty easy. Seeker, I want him to open with his A1. Painkeeper needs to open with her A3. The fast Maneater, you don't do anything with his AI. He runs correctly the way he is in his speeds. The second Maneater, however, I need to delay the unkillable on his A3 one turn. So I use his A2 first, and then he comes in with his A3. And then Fein, I have her opening with her A3 to increase the amount of damage that my other champions can do as fast as possible, right? Getting decreased defense and weaken out as soon as possible help increase everyone else's damage. I believe I haven't done any play testing to double check, but I think it is more damage than the 2 poisons can do in that 1 turn. So this is affinity friendly. This is Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare friendly. It is a fully AI setup. You do not have to do anything except click start, leave it on auto, go grab some breakfast, go make that cup of coffee, and go about your day. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. As I said, in the comments down below will be a link to my new Discord server. Come join, and we'd love to have you as I build my community. I've been Lord Darth Balls. I'll catch you on the next video. Enjoy your raid.